All right, Anna Rutoya, an advert masquerading as advice. It's a trick the richest families in the world use, and this clown does not want you to join the club. This is in relation to a video that I created about a family trust and whether you should have your home in a family trust. All right, so this clown is going to talk to you around these considerations because the reality is I don't care if you put your home in a family trust. You're more than welcome to do that and forfeit the capital gains tax concessions associated with that. You may say, I'm never going to sell my home. It's my forever home. But what if you do? Wouldn't you prefer to maintain the ability to be able to have that asset as being capital gains tax exempt? Because the reality is if you have it inside a family trust, you're going to pay in the vicinity of about 25% tax on any of the gains that you make on the sale of that property, assuming that you've held it for more than 12 months. Now, you are right. The wealthiest families do use family trusts. I use a family trust. The vast majority of our clients use family trusts. And we utilize family trusts primarily for investment purposes because a family trust provides us with two distinct benefits. This clown believes that the first benefit is providing flexibility of tax outcome. And the second is that we want to get some level of asset protection, okay? So let's explore these. Flexibility of tax outcome is on the basis that we have income and capital gains in the future that we want flexibility to be able to distribute to other beneficiaries who are in a lower tax bracket in order to optimize the tax outcome. So that requires it to be an investment asset. Your home is not an investment asset. It doesn't produce any income, so you don't need flexibility of tax outcome there. Secondly, capital gains. You don't pay capital gains if you own the property in your own name. So an investment property, it doesn't matter what entity you own it in, you're going to pay tax on it, and therefore you want flexibility of that outcome. So let's say, for example, that you have a property that is worth $1 million, and then in 10 years' time, it's worth $2 million, so there's an assessable gain of $1 million. If you own that in your own name, that now means there's $1 million of assessable gain that gets added to your taxable income. Sure, you get a 50% CGT discount personally, but you also get that in the trust. Then you've got $500,000 of assessable gain that gets added to your income in that year, meaning that you're going to pay 47% tax on that, which is in the vicinity of about 24% overall tax that you end up paying as an individual. Whereas, if you had other beneficiaries that you could distribute to, let's say that you've got a significant other that you can distribute to, you can split that 50-50. You can also distribute to a bucket company. It has a flat rate of tax of 30%. Ultimately meaning that we're going to reduce that average tax rate down to, in many cases, lower than 20% overall tax, in some cases even less. So that seems like a pretty good idea to me. Then further, we've got the ability to distribute income. So for example, if you own a business inside a family trust, you can distribute income to lower income beneficiaries. You can split that with your spouse. There's opportunity to distribute to adult children. And the asset protection benefits come from the ability for you to be able to transfer ownership of those assets over time without triggering capital gains tax or stamp duty considerations. So what many of our clients do is they use their family trust in order to accumulate a significant amount of wealth. We use what we call an asset protection trust, which doesn't have a vesting date. Most trusts vest after 80 years. We have a way that we can set that up that it doesn't vest. And then what that then means is that they can then add their children as beneficiaries, add their children as trustees and directors of the trustee company in the future once they are responsible and have the ability to manage the money, or as part of their overall estate planning strategy to create true generational wealth. There are very few instances that involves the family home because the family home can transfer to beneficiaries without tax consequences and without stamp duty upon death anyway. If you are concerned around litigation, that you're in a high risk profession, so you're a barrister, you're a brain surgeon, the reality is there's probably not a lot of other high risk occupations that really warrant this, then you may consider doing it. But what we typically advocate for clients in that particular position is that if you're in a relationship, you've got a significant other, we have one person in the relationship that is the risk person. So that is the person who's the director of all of the companies that takes all of the risk. And then the other person is the asset person. And then we hold all of the assets in their name, particularly the family home, which once again still maintains the CGT-free conditions. And same thing with the family trust. We control the family trust and all of the investment assets under the asset person's name. So there are multiple ways that you can structure this. I'm not trying to gatekeep strategies. And hopefully this clown has shown you exactly why we go about it this way, but it pays to get personal advice. Catch you next time.